What if I told you that one single battle, fought over 500 years ago, not only decided the fate of a legendary city, but also redrew the map of the world and changed the course of history for two entire continents? It's a story of ambition, innovation, and an epic clash of civilizations. This is the story of the fall of Constantinople in 1453. For over 1,000 years, Constantinople stood as the capital of the Byzantine Empire, the last remnant of the mighty Roman Empire. It was a beacon of Christianity, a fortress city with legendary walls that had repelled countless sieges. Its strategic location on the Bosphorus Strait meant it controlled the lucrative trade routes between Europe and Asia. For centuries, goods like silk, spices, and precious metals flowed through its markets, making it one of the wealthiest cities on earth. It was more than just a city. It was a symbol, the heart of an empire and a gateway between two worlds. But by the mid-15th century, the once great Byzantine Empire was a shadow of its former self. It was a small, fragile state, surrounded by a new, formidable power, the Ottoman Empire. And at the helm of this rising force was a young, brilliant, and incredibly ambitious sultan, only 21 years old, Mehmed II. Mehmed was obsessed with Constantinople. He saw it not just as a strategic prize, but as his destiny. To him, conquering the city was a prophecy foretold. He famously said, "Either I will take Constantinople, or Constantinople will take me." He was a true Renaissance man, a skilled warrior, a patron of the arts, and a master of military strategy. He knew that to breach Constantinople's legendary defenses, he couldn't rely on old methods. He needed a game changer, and that game changer came in the form of a massive revolutionary weapon, the super cannon. Mehmed commissioned a Hungarian engineer named Orban to build a series of enormous bronze cannons, the likes of which the world had never seen. The largest of these, the Great Turkish Bombard, was over 27 feet long and could fire a 1,200-pound stone ball over a mile. Imagine the psychological terror of that. The ground would shake, the air would thunder, and these massive projectiles would smash into walls that had stood for a millennium. This was the birth of modern artillery warfare, and it was aimed squarely at the heart of Byzantium. On the other side, defending the city, was the last Byzantine Emperor, Constantine XI. He was a brave and determined leader, but he was facing impossible odds. He had only about 7,000 soldiers to defend 14 miles of walls against an Ottoman army estimated to be over 80,000 strong. He pleaded with the Christian kingdoms of Western Europe for help, but rivalries and politics meant only a few hundred Genoese and Venetian soldiers came to his aid. The city was isolated, outnumbered, and staring down the barrel of Mehmed's super cannons. The siege began in April 1453. For 53 days, the city endured a relentless bombardment. The massive cannons pounded the ancient walls day and night, turning sections of the legendary defenses into rubble. The defenders fought with incredible courage, working tirelessly to repair the breaches under constant fire. They used a secret weapon of their own, Greek fire, an ancient incendiary substance that could burn on water to repel Ottoman naval attacks. One of Mehmed's most brilliant and audacious moves was bypassing the massive chain that blocked the entrance to the city's harbor, the Golden Horn. In a single night, he had his men construct a greased log road and physically dragged 70 of his ships overland, around the chain, and into the harbor. The next morning, the defenders woke up to the nightmare of Ottoman ships inside their protected waters. The psychological blow was devastating. The siege was now coming from both land and sea. Despite their bravery, the defenders were exhausted. Supplies were dwindling, and the relentless cannon fire was taking its toll. The end was near. On May 29, 1453, Mehmed ordered the final, all-out assault. Waves of Ottoman troops crashed against the weakened walls. The fighting was brutal, hand-to-hand combat in the breaches. Emperor Constantine XI, seeing the tide turning, cast off his royal insignia and plunged into the thick of the fighting, disappearing into the chaos, a true emperor defending his city to the last breath. He was never seen again. With the emperor's fall, the defense collapsed. The Ottoman soldiers poured into the city. After 1,000 years, the Roman Empire had finally fallen. Mehmed II, now known as Mehmed the Conqueror, rode his horse into the city and went directly to the Hagia Sophia, the magnificent cathedral that was the heart of Orthodox Christianity. He ordered it to be converted into a mosque, symbolizing the shift in power. Constantinople was renamed Istanbul and became the new, glorious capital of the Ottoman Empire. So, how did this one battle change the fate of two continents? Let's start with Europe. The fall of Constantinople was a massive shock. The gateway to the east was now closed. The overland trade routes that had supplied Europe with silk and spices for centuries were now under Ottoman control. This forced European nations to look for new ways to reach Asia. This is where the story pivots dramatically. Visionary explorers in Portugal and Spain began to believe there had to be another way. If they couldn't go east by land, they would go west by sea. This single event, the closing of the eastern trade routes, became the primary catalyst for the Age of Discovery. Just a few decades later, Christopher Columbus, funded by the Spanish crown, sailed west, hoping to find a new route to India. Instead, he stumbled upon the Americas. This discovery would fundamentally change the world forever. It led to the colonization of the New World, the Columbian exchange of goods, ideas, and diseases, and the rise of vast European colonial empires. All of this can be traced back to the economic necessity created by the fall of Constantinople. It forced Europe to look outward, to innovate in navigation and shipbuilding, and to venture into the unknown. For the other continent, Asia, the victory solidified the Ottoman Empire as the dominant power in the region. Istanbul became a thriving center of culture, science, and art, a true bridge between East and West under Ottoman rule. The empire would expand to control vast territories in the Middle East, North Africa, and southeastern Europe, shaping the political and cultural landscape for the next 400 years. The fall of Constantinople was also a turning point in military history. The use of massive cannons proved that even the strongest medieval fortifications were now obsolete. This ushered in a new era of warfare, where gunpowder and artillery would dominate the battlefield. So, the next time you think about the history of the Americas or the great European empires, remember the Siege of 1453. It was a battle fought with stone, steel, and gunpowder, but its echoes created ripples that crossed oceans. It was the end of one world, the ancient world of Rome, and the violent, dramatic birth of another, the modern world we live in today. In 21-year-old Sultan's ambition and his super cannons didn't just conquer a city. They knocked over the first domino in a chain reaction that reshaped the globe. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the past fascinating, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that show how a single moment can change everything. See you in the next video.